Hey everyone, just doing a recap here of the trade I took on NQ, just giving you my thoughts behind it, what I was looking at, what I was looking for, and just breaking it down from that perspective. I saw on NQ this morning, or I saw on X, I'm sorry, a friend of mine that follows me, I follow them back, and they made a post this morning that they were commenting on another post, and they said they don't care at all what your P&L is, what your profit is, what you've done. They're more interested in the thoughts behind the process. And that's basically why I do these videos, just to show you guys where I'm coming from and all that. I'm not one to be flashy and show numbers. I've done it in the past. I don't like to do it, to be honest, because we're all at different stages in our journey. So I think for some, it really affects them in terms of, okay, they see X person or Y person making this and that. How come I'm not there yet? Why can't I do that? And so I've really toned down in doing that myself. I used to do it, often, but I'm just more from the perspective of, show me what your thought process was, show me what you were thinking in the trade. So anyway, having said that, that's where I'm coming from today. So I'm on the 1 minute chart. Let me jump out to the 15 real quick, show you what's been happening here. As you guys know from today, we had a huge move all the way up this morning. So I missed this due to some things from work going on, which was okay. I have learned over time, just me, not to try to chase a trade, not to try to jump in this. For me, my perspective is if the train has left the station, I wait for the next train to get to to get there. I wait for the next setup. And so that's what I was doing today. And as I was watching it blow through these imbalances, let me see here. Yeah, these are imbalances that were created. As I was watching it go through what was here before on the left side and just continue to blast through them and blast through them, I thought, well, the obvious target is going to be the previous day high, which it eventually took. And so when it came up here and hit previous day high, which is a major liquidity pool. You guys know that. If you don't know that, mark it down on your notes. Previous day high, previous day low are major liquidity pools. Huge, huge. And that's why I've talked about it in my past videos. I always mark up previous day highs and lows. You guys see me mark up these one area imbalances. And the reason I do that is because when they come up and when they bounce off, this is another 4 hour here. When they bounce off these, or when they come up and first react off these imbalances, it usually creates some type of reaction. And let me just go back for a second here. And so you can see this 1 hour was created here. We reacted, this is back on the 17th of April. We attempted to go through it, but rejected. Then we started down. Now we have rejected off of it now twice. Again, all the more reason why I say mark up these 1 hour and 4 hour, mark up your higher time frame imbalances. And man, I'm missing this trade right now as I make this video. That's all right. Yeah, this looks like a good one too. Anyway, talking about the earlier one today. So as it continued to come up, and I said, okay, previous day high is going to be the obvious target. So it did sweep that. It did create, let me see if I can go back and do a replay. And let's see here. And you can see we've got our sweep at this point. You'll notice I've got two of the same candles. This is the higher time frame candles by Fatty. I've showed you guys this before. And I've got all the various time frames marked here. This is the same time frame or the same candle type. In fact, this guy used his code. He had Fatty's got two indicators out there. One that's got the open source code. So this guy took part of his code and tweaked it a little bit. So he's also showing the higher time frame candles. But similar to T-Trades, he's showing what he calls the G spot. He's showing the sweeps. So you'll see it's made the sweep here. It's showing you the sweep on the lower time frame. It doesn't do it over here. I kind of wish it did. So you've essentially got the same markup. Let me just add that real quick here. You've essentially got the same markup here that's right here. And so seeing that, this is your order block entry. And I don't have it marked here, but that is essentially your change in the state, or not essentially, it is your change in the state of delivery right there, which is why I've got the projections marked off. I go, like I said in previous video, I go from candle to candle. I don't go wick to wick. That's just a preference of mine. And so I marked up those projections, got in the trade at that point. And also you can see the nice thing about this indicator too is there's the G spot, or what T-Trades calls the T spot, that it is creating. That is essentially, if you guys are not sure what that is or not familiar with that, I will draw that out real quick. And that is essentially, let me just go ahead and just take this off. That is the 50% area of this candle, and of course going down, obviously we're in a bearish candle here. So it is essentially taking from here to here, and that's where you get your T spot, which it's drawing out there. So, and it's marked it out in 15-minute increments. So you've got 11:30 here, and then it draws it out to 11:45. You're in your next 15-minute zone, if you will. So basically, I'll just call it the spot. T spot for T-Trades, G spot for this indicator. You basically don't want the candle it can come in like it's done here, but you don't want it to close over that. You want it to respect the EQ of this candle that did the sweep. And then this is your C2 candle. You want your C3 candle to continue on down. And that is what we get here. And my target was the take profit area here, the 4.5. I'm also looking to the left, looking for this liquidity down here to be swept, and you can see it took it right there. So give me just a second here. Okay, had a little cough there. I didn't want to blast you guys on the video here. So let me go ahead and get out of this. And so guys, that's essentially what I was looking at. It did, like I said, previous day high. I was waiting for that to be swept. It swept that. We had a sweep and a close back underneath. That's your fractal model sweep. I've got the projections from the fib laid out, changing the state of delivery, and then you can target a 2R. You can target whatever you're looking for on the left as far as liquidity. This was the obvious liquidity pool for me that I saw. And it also lined up nicely with the 4.5 area. And so it came down, hit that. That's when I jumped off the boat. And thank goodness, because then it just took off like a rocket. Oh man, look at that. Wow. Anyway, so it took off like a rocket up through here again. But then again, this is actually a good time to talk about this, because again, you see, I've got a 1 hour marked up here. I've got a 4 hour zone marked up here, and look how it came up and bounced off of that. Didn't want to go through it, and then we've got the drop going down. Here is your sweep there. I can see. So you've got your drop that happened. Let me go ahead and mark from here to here. There is your 50% to the candle opening. There is your T spot or G spot. I used to draw these out manually, but I found this guy's indicator, which does it. It's beautiful, so it saves me a little bit of time there. And that is what you're looking for. So just real quick, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this makes sense for you, and I'll talk to you again on the next one. Have a good one, guys.